we've got some good news and some bad news for you when it comes to the Republican tax bill. The good news is for the Republicans, the bad news is for you, me, the rest of the panel, and the country, unfortunately. Because we now know how much this tax plan is likely to add to the national debt, coming from the CBO. The CBO recent analysis relied on the Joint Committee of Taxation's finding that the bill would cut revenues by $1.4 trillion over 10 years, I love this sentence, which falls within the level Republicans allowed themselves in their budget resolution. But that's actually not how much it's gonna cost. With debt servicing, it's gonna cost $1.7 trillion, which is more than what they allowed themselves, but
They might allow it though.
We'll call it good.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, so that's significant because that means that Republicans will be able to pass the bill through budget reconciliation, meaning they need only a simple majority rather than the 60 votes which you needed during the Obama years to pass every single piece of legislation.
They actually, Obamacare got passed out of 51 vote, actually.
That is true, yes.
So this is how you beat Trump. You go after his bullshit policies, his giveaways to billionaires, him refilling the swamp after he drained and he found his cabinets at the bottom of the swamp. So this is how you beat Trump. You come after him when you talk about healthcare, you beat him. When you talk about his bullshit tax policies, you beat him. When you talk about how he's spending an extra $80 billion a year on military nobody wants, you beat him. When you talk about Russia, that strengthens him. So I would go at his economic policies, which are only favoring the rich and screwing over everybody else, and that's how you beat him.
What's interesting about this bill in particular is they sort of waited to roll it out, but we knew basically what was gonna be in it. So by the time it had come out, less than a third of the country had a favorable impression of it. And I saw a couple days ago that it said 60% of the country thinks that it's designed to benefit the wealthy. 60%?
Why not?
40% doesn't see that or doesn't care?
Maybe I don't know, I'm gonna guess. So you have the top 20% earners, okay, they're happy. So you're really talking about maybe 20%, and maybe they're uninformed. They don't watch the news, and I answered my phone and I'm like, I don't know about it. So maybe they're just the uninformed.
That's possible.
Or they're desperate for the approval of the top 20%.
Oh, maybe
I mean,
sort of an aspirational thing.
Yeah.
So there's this thing too that people of, even Joe Biden went down when he was campaigning and he said, rich people are just as patriotic as poor people. Bernie might not want to hear that, but that's the truth. So that's that bullshit of the rich people pay most of the taxes. It's that idea that somehow we're imposing on rich people when we ask them to pay their fair share, and so we have guilt about it. And rich people pay most of the. So they also have.
I feel bad for the rich.
Me too.
Yeah, think about what they could do. Think about the countries they could buy if they weren't paying taxes so that we could have roads and stuff.
They're just trying to make more jobs. Exactly. They're just trying.
So someday they're gonna do it.
So people don't understand that you don't tax a guy's first house as highly as you tax a guy's second house or third house. Do you understand that? So you tax wealth, you don't tax necessities. You gotta have necessities, you don't wanna tax those, but you don't have to have a summer home or a vacation condo, or that's what you tax, and that's how you pay for shit. And that's how you stop having dynasties if you have an estate tax, by the way. And so if you don't have an estate tax, that hurts the economy. Yeah. Okay.
By the way, I saw another thing. This was an analysis by, I think, the Tax Policy Center that showed that by 2027, people making, when you say like 20%, top 10%, people don't exactly know where they're at necessarily, and a lot of people believe they're better off than they actually are. But let's talk specifics. People making between $30,000 and $75,000 a year with children would actually see their taxes go up. Now the people below that see their taxes go a little bit down, but it saves them $10 a year or something like that. And the same for the people above them. But those people in the actual literal middle class pay more in taxes under this plan. But think about what you get for those taxes. You get to enrich a billionaire.
You get to enrich a billionaire.
That's nice.
And take healthcare away from people.
Yeah, I mean, you may not have your tax money anymore, but you can probably fire a pretty cool gun. Probably do that.
Well, and again, look at what this is adding to the debt. One of the things Donald Trump ran on, we're gonna be fiscally responsible. I'm gonna run this like one of my businesses, which I always knocked it out of the park with those businesses, wink, wink. But he ran on that, and now look at what this is adding to the debt. Again, and what is this? These are Republican policies that he's parroting
Right,
and doing a bad job at.
So this isn't just him uniquely Trump. This is just regular Republican stuff.
Well, and this is what we always see. I mean, we talk about this on the show. We've done it year after year after year. You know, if there's a Democratic president, then Republicans are fiscally conservative. They care about debts and deficits. They can even start a Tea Party based purely on that. And then they get in power, they get a president, and suddenly they'll allow themselves $1.5 trillion a year.
That's healthy.
In extra. The debt was already going up every year. This is more. This is accelerating the process. And the danger here is that if this thing gets passed, it's not just a huge giveaway, but at some point, someone is going to have to be responsible with this, the way that they're going to destroy the federal budget and the added deficits and the added national debt. And so what happens in a few years when a new president comes in? What is he going to be able to afford to do if they've already given all that money to corporations in the top 1%?
That's the point, John. They want to break government. They want to bankrupt it so people think government doesn't work because they just came. Well, it's that old joke about Republicans say government doesn't work, then they get elected and prove it.
Exactly.
So that's what they're trying to do.
They get elected to prove it.
Yeah, they're trying to break it so nobody else can even fix it after they get done breaking it.
If you like this video, you probably like independent media. The best way to support independent media, become a member of the Young Turks. TYTnetwork.com/join.